Good morning. So there's been all this talk about the synthetic matrix and the real matrix and unplugging yourself from the synthetic world and plugging yourself back into nature. And while I totally agree, and nature is just awesome and what we should be connecting to, it can be quite disheartening for those of us that live in the city, in even the suburbs are really developed now, and it can be quite hard to feel like you're connected to nature. You feel like, oh, that's great for all of you people. You just have the luxury of trotting off and chilling out in the jungle or going to an island or something. But me, I'm just stuck here and I have to do my 9 to 5. So don't feel disheartened. We all have to do it too, most of us. So, what you need to remember is nature is all around us. So right now it's gone a tiny bit quieter, but I've woken up with all this drilling and there it is a little bit. It's quite quiet now. All this like building work just outside. The sort of thing that could make you wake up and feel crazy. But no, it doesn't need to. It's what you tune into. It's a peace you find within. And wait, just listen, I heard it just then. There it is. All the birds. If you actually stop and listen, there's tons of birds, there's tons of nature. How many of you had your bins raided by foxes during the night? Or come back really late and seen them wandering the streets? Or some people have all sorts of random animals coming into their garden, and while it can be a bit of a nuisance when they destroy things, you're never alone, you're never apart from it. It's here with us, we just have to tune into it. So that's something I want to remind you of. I went one time to South Africa and we did a really cool experience and we stayed on a ranch. And this Australian girl would wake up in the morning and scream at the birds, like, shut the fuck up! Because she hated the noise of this beautiful bird in the morning. And so it's really what's inside. It's really how you feel and not what's outside. So that's something we need to remember. Don't feel disheartened, especially if you have all this building going on like I do, or you're living somewhere really congested and exhausting. Because if you read all these things about 5G, about the synthetic world, or you watch these things and you start to get into your head and you think, oh, I've got headaches, I can't handle the energy, I can't do this, it's too much for me, it's overwhelming. It's so overwhelming because you're tuned into it and you're not peaceful inside. Everything comes from within, you know? How somebody says, you know, when you get a text messages are a great example because they're very they don't really give you a feeling or a context. If you're in a bad mood and you read a text message, or you're expecting a nice reply and you just get a very indifferent reply, it can make you feel really hurt, really angry, like what was all that about? But actually, it could have been kind of funny. It could have been okay. And you can just drive yourself crazy for the rest of the day trying to sort of decipher what does that one 5-word line message mean and why don't they give a shit, or do they give a shit? But then I might be overreacting and then it's your inside turbulence. The waves of energy are crashing around. The sea is not calm. You have to calm your sea and then it's going to be good. And also, bring a bit of nature inside and it's gonna be lovely. So that's my top tips for you. Don't be disheartened. Calm yourself, ground, meditate with your grounding chakra, your first one, the red one at the bottom. It grounds you, makes you feel safe, it makes you feel secure. And as I've been getting a lot of advice recently, it's going to open up all the rest of them. Don't get too crazy on trying to get too spiritual. Ground yourself first because we're here. Like, why else are we here apart from to enjoy our experience, to connect to one another? And that's the other thing about living in the city. It's really awesome. Like, there's so many cool people that you bump into, the energy, the fun, the interaction you get on a daily basis. Like, don't forget that, the wealth of experiences, the wealth of things that you can do, even if it's just like exploring different areas, going into different shops. Not that I'm like condoning consumerism, but you there are amazingly cool things. There's always a good and a negative. You just have to tap into the good. And you have to tap into your core strengths, your core values, reconnect, and then go out there and interact on the level of everything you're connected to. I want to say it's really that simple because it sounds like it's sort of taking away from any strife that you're having when it's not so simple, but it's a bit like we kind of make a lot of problems for ourselves. Me, I'm the best. I overcomplicate everything and I make the most simple things like a really arduous task and really like, for what? Well, for me, it's to make up for my lack of confidence and probably make things a little bit more exciting and a bit more of a challenge, like these unconscious cycles I've been a bit stuck in. And I find that when I really push to the limit and it's almost too much, that's when I just let go and I just like act and do, and I stop procrastinating, I stop like doubting it, I stop like overthinking. I think of 10 ways to do something and never have the faith just to choose one. So really, it's coming from the inside. So it can be quite simple. We like to make it too complicated. And don't get back to the origins, calm yourself, think, what do I believe, what's important to me, how can I just bring back my balance, and then work from there. And even if you're not down with meditating and you feel like it's a bit too far out, sit and let go. Be in this moment. This moment is all you have. Don't get yourself crazy about the future of what could happen. That's a false play on excitement. Don't get yourself upset about the past because too late, buddy. If you fucked it up, suck it up and move on. Sort it out and don't do it again. And forgive and love yourself at the same time. And yeah, really be present. I was given advice also to just do one thing at a time. And our culture now celebrates doing 100 things at a time. And when you actually just sit there, like I've been sitting there the last few days and just eating my dinner. Just eating it. And it's weird because I put my phone up ready and I'm like starting to find something to watch, and then I'm like, stop it, Christy. Stop it. Just eat. And then when you just look at your food, take your food slowly, recognize the flavor of the food, and realize that, whoa, how much more chewing do I need to do compared to what I actually do? Because I'm just shoveling it down, like, I'm loving this. I want to eat forever. Another thing. But when you actually mindfully do it, you realize you need a lot more chewing to actually chew your food properly, which probably help with a lot more digestion and nutrient absorption, and make you feel a lot fuller, and you appreciate it a lot more because you're not getting too high on the taste and the amazingness of it. You're searching for something to compensate a lack. You're looking for this type of stimulation. We live in a very stimulated environment. Everything is like stimulation from a hit on social media, stimulation from high sugar, high salt, high whatever food, stimulation from like getting annoyed about something. It's all like very stimulating. It's all very distracting. It's all very, you know? So actually to let go of that is probably the hardest part of everything. To just kind of let go of this and say, I'm okay. I'm satisfied. What was it? Brené Brown, she also said, we live in a life of lack. In our perception, it's like when we go to bed, it's like, oh, I didn't have enough time to do all this stuff. And, you know, by the time you wake up, you're like, oh, I woke up too late. I don't have enough time. It's always like a lack mindset. And instead of going over the top and thinking you want everything and all this abundance, what if you just be satisfied? Just satisfied. Imagine if you were just happy right now. You just said, this is my lot, this is my moment, and it's awesome. Because that's where we exist. And it is, if you can appreciate it, because there's always, always shit. And there's always, always incredible things. And sometimes you need the shit to bring out the incredibleness or to grow. And other times you have too much incredibleness and you just get bored of it. And then you feel guilty that you can't appreciate it. It's just this ultimate conundrum. It's always playing with you. So you have to just sort yourself out so you can play back and enjoy the game. So, I hope you can find a few things to take on board that's going to help you about your day and just this present moment, and find your way to do what's best for you and to find your balance and your peace inside. Reconnect to the moment, and like I am, completely tune out of all of this ding ding rah, and tune in to the nature and peace within you. Bye bye.